A New Hampshire residential purchase agreement is a contract that legally binds the buyer and the seller of a home to a set of terms and conditions. The document acts as a roadmap to guide the transaction, outlining the purchase price, financing plan, closing date, and other important information. In this video, we'll cover how a residential purchase agreement works, the legal requirements in New Hampshire, and what you'll need to create one. We're eForms, the biggest online database for legal documents. Stick around and we'll tell you where you can find an official residential purchase agreement specific to New Hampshire. First, let's review how does a residential purchase agreement exactly work. When making an offer on a home, the buyer presents a residential purchase agreement to the seller. It states how much the buyer is willing to pay for it, how it will be financed, when the offer will expire, and any contingencies that must be met before the deal is closed. It may take some negotiation between the buyer and the seller to agree on all parts of the contract. Once an agreement is met, both parties sign the document, making it legally bound. This means that the agreement can only be terminated if both parties agree to it or if a contractual contingency or a legal requirement is not met. So what are the legal requirements in New Hampshire? New Hampshire is a buyer beware state, meaning it is up to the buyer to make inspections for any defects on the property. The seller is not legally required to make any disclosures other than facts regarding the property's water supply system, private sewage disposal system, insulation, and the possible presence of certain toxic materials. Lastly, federal law requires sellers to provide a disclosure about lead-based paint exposure if the residence was built before 1978. Now that we know more about how a residential purchase agreement works and what is legally required, here are some things that you should do to make sure the process goes soundly. Include a mortgage pre-approval letter. A mortgage pre-approval letter is a document from the bank estimating how much it is willing to lend to the buyer based on their credit history, income, debts, and assets. This helps the seller determine whether the buyer is financially credible. Offer an earnest money deposit. An earnest money deposit is a percentage of the offer and provided to the seller as a show of good faith. It is written into the residential purchase agreement and typically delivered when the agreement is signed. Use an addendum to modify or add to the agreement. An addendum is often included with a residential purchase agreement to add to or amend any terms and conditions. It can also detail a contingency which allows either party to opt out of the contract if certain terms are not met. If you are in need of an official New Hampshire residential purchase agreement, you can get started by clicking the link right here. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos that help simplify the legal process for everything ranging from buying or selling a house to making a will.